We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It's May 2nd, 2026. So, where have I been? Took a week off. It's been a rough week. I put out a post telling y'all I've been going through it this week with some shit. So, the last I talked to you all, I was getting excited about going and seeing Last Podcast on the Left. So, I did get to go and do that. Me and Sammy had a good time. Next day, I just didn't feel good. I went to work the next day, and then I picked up a shift, and, I went to work the next day, and then I had a day off, and that day off, I physically just did not feel good. Literally just, laid in bed. My side was hurting real bad. I just did not feel right. So, kind of took a day off, and then I picked up a shift, worked the next day. So I get out of work, and the car had kind of been acting. It really wasn't acting weird, but it was sounding weird. It was sounding a little rougher than usual. The Cadillac Silver Bullet. I leave work, and I'm driving home, and next thing I know, I'm just driving. It's driving normal. Stop at a stoplight. Stoplight turns green. I turn, start driving again. It starts going, and barely moving. I went, what the fuck? Transmission's fucking slipping. So I get it pulled over, shut it off, turn it back on, go through all the gears, and it is not going up this hill. So my car is stuck on the fucking side of the road. I knew it was transmission. Part of this is my fucking fault, dude. I ain't gonna lie. So, I usually get my oil changes done at Valvoline. And the one that I used to get it done at, every time I'd get my oil changed, I was a regular. They already knew. And I just assumed that every Valvoline does this. I've been using Valvoline since I was literally 16 years old when I first started driving. The same exact Valvoline since 16. So they've literally seen me grow up into a 34-year-old man. Yes, I forget how old I am. Every time you get an oil change, they automatically top off all the fluids in the car. Every fluid. Washer fluid, antifreeze, transmission, oil. They automatically check and top off every fluid. So, I didn't think of this. I didn't know this. And my wife, I took her car. She got a new one. She's got a RAV4. I got rid of my Pontiac 96 because honestly, it was driving just fine. It ran like a fucking sewing machine. But electrical issues, like all the blinkers stopped working. Give me just a second. So all the blinkers stopped working. Like it left and right blinkers stopped working. Just electrical shit like that. Like the license plate light stopped working. Yeah, it was just, it had no muffler on it, so it was loud as fuck. It was time for a new car, an upgrade. So I thought, well, fuck it, I'll get the 96 Pontiac hauled off and junked, and I'll take the caddy. I should have just kept the 96 Pontiac, man. Honestly, because even though it wasn't like street legal, it ran like a fucking sewing machine. And we've had troubles and issues with the caddy before. But I don't know, something in me just said, just get the caddy, you know? So I got the caddy. And yeah, so I'm stuck on the side of the road and the transmission's slipping. So I've had this issue before. Way back in the day, dude. This is a whole nother fucking story. But way back in the day, this might just be honestly just an update video because it's been a wild fucking week. So way back in the day, I had it was like a 2000 something, like early 2000s, silver Saturn. It was my first car that I ever owned. And I worked in Harrodsburg, Kentucky, but I lived in Lancaster, Kentucky at the time. So I had to drive from Harrodsburg to Danville, and in Danville to Lancaster. Now, in between Danville and Lancaster, Kentucky, there's this like notorious road called 52. And by the way, 52 is notorious for being a bad, curvy, dangerous road. It is if you don't know the road. I knew it like the back of my hand, so I would literally drive like 60, 70 miles an hour, sometimes 80, 90 miles an hour because I was a crazy psycho punk rock kid in high school chugging Robitussin. Like, I was a crazy person when I was a young punk in high school. So I might have told this story on the channel before. I don't know. I've told it so many times because it was like a crazy fucking... It's just one of those moments in your life that just stick out. Of just like being a young fucking idiot, you know? So I was flying down 52, listening to Iggy Pop, and I popped the CD out, and the CD fell in the floorboard. The right passenger side floorboard. So I wasn't flying because I did slow down enough. Because obviously I didn't want to be going like 100 miles an hour, like reaching down. But I did slow down, like probably like 50 miles an hour. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll just reach down, grab it, and then pick it back up. And by the way, this was like after like a horrible shift. My uncle had smoked some dope ass, dank ass fucking weed, and I smoked with him. And I seriously, there was like loss of time. I had totally forgotten I had to go to work that day. I was so fucking high. I was changing into my uniform in my driveway. I looked at my uncle. I said, it was my Uncle Ron. I looked at him. I said, dude, I got to go to fucking work. So, I went, he drove me back home, and I literally changed into my uniform in my car, drove to work high as fuck, dude. I mean, so fucking high that like everything was like glitching. They call it like, it's like when you smoke Jackrabbit. I don't know if any of y'all have ever had Jackrabbit. I've had it, and there's a reason they call it Jackrabbit. Everything looks like it's like a skipping DVD. I was stopping at green lights. Like, everything was glitching. My sister-in-law and brother were like, are you sure that shit wasn't laced? I'm like, I don't think he would lace weed. maybe, I don't know. Uncle Ron was pretty crazy. He was into some heavy shit, but so I drove to work like ripped out of my fucking skull. And dude, when I got to work, I was working kitchen that night, and it was a pizza place, Godfather Pizza, Minute Mart over in Harrodsburg. It was my first job. Like, I was putting pizzas in the oven with no cheese. Like, I was fucking up like every other fucking pizza. And finally, my boss came down there and she's like, "Abe, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you fucked up?" I said, "I ain't gonna lie, I'm high as fuck." I said I didn't mean to, and I really didn't. I just wanted to take like one or two tokes, catch a little buzz, and then go to work. Like an hour or two later, but I just lost track of the time, you know? So I was so fucking high during my whole shift that like I was getting scared during the shift because it was like when I was first started smoking, I was a teenager and I was like, is this going to last forever? Am I going to feel this way forever? I don't know if you've ever been that high. But like by the time I got out of work, like the high had mellowed a little bit. I was still blazed out of my fucking skull. But like it had chilled out enough to where it was like, okay, I'm cool. I survived the night. I clocked out. I was feeling good. I'm just gonna pop on some music, drive home. And while I reached for this fucking CD, I fucking pulled the steering wheel while going down instead of keeping my hand steady. Next thing I know, like I get back up with the CD, and I'm in another car's lane. The car's coming towards me, and there's a cliff, a wall, because we have like mountainside cliffs here in Kentucky, and there's a fence over here. And I correct back this way, but I overcorrect and start fishtailing, and I had like, it was like a split second moment, kind of like, I don't know, it was like, do you ever play video games when you got like, it's in the middle of a cutscene and you got like, it'll go and then you have like 3 seconds to choose an option, left or right. And I went cliff wall, head on collision, fence. I went fence. And I just chose fence. I just pulled it to the right and just slammed into a fucking fence. Destroyed my fucking car. Smashed it in between two fence posts. And needless to say, the reason I bring that up was because we had gotten the car out of it and we thought the car was fine. Like it actually was running okay. Like everything was fine. It just had body damage and some windshield damage and all that shit. My parents were pissed, you know. Needless to say, I drove that car for like, I kid you not, probably like a month. And drove the hell out of it. No problems whatsoever. Same fucking thing happened to me one day. Was I was driving, going, and all of a sudden it just lost all of its fucking umph. And like RPMs were going up. But like barely moving. And I poked it all the way home with my flashers on. And my dad was behind me. I had the flashers on. And we got it to the house. And he took it to a shop, you know. And turns out like something, it wasn't, the transmission was not fucked. But it was something that held the transmission fluid had cracked. But it was like a hairline fucking crack. So what it was is the transmission fluid was like leaking so slow from the wreck that we didn't notice it until like a month later. Because it was like literally just like a blip, 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 you know. So I thought maybe that's what's wrong with the caddy. I was like, we had gotten a new transmission for it. It was a rebuilt transmission for $3,000 6 years ago. So I was like, ain't no way they need another fucking transmission. Like, so I got it to the house. Sammy, I love her to death. I called her, blew up her phone. She would not wake up. She was asleep. So I'm like, fuck. I turned the car back on. And I barely get it home, dude. It's just slipping like crazy. So I barely get it home. Luckily, I live close. That I only live like 5 miles from my workplace. Got it home. Parked it in the garage. or not garage, driveway. I was like, boo, car's fucked, transmission slip. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, yep. I said, hopefully it's not the transmission, though. I told her the whole story that I just told you guys. I'm like, well, maybe it's just that, you know? And so next day, I'm off. I say, or no, I had to work the next day. But anyways, I said, well, tomorrow morning, we'll try to take it to Valvoline. Maybe I need to get like, here's why I thought Valvoline. This is why I brought up Valvoline earlier. I remember now. So after that, I got home and I'm like, well, maybe I said, when I wrecked my Saturn when I was a kid, I said there was a hairline crack in like something that held the transmission fluid and it was slowly dripping. I said, maybe that's what happened. Maybe I ran something over or hit something and didn't realize it. Or maybe it's dry rot or just rusted out because where they salt the roads. Maybe it's slowly leaking transmission fluid, you know. And she's like, that's possible. And I said, because I said, every time I do, my oil changes are up to date, you know. And I said, you know, Valvoline, they top off the oil, all the fluids. She said, she just smiled and went, not the transmission. I said, what do you mean not the transmission? I said, every car I've owned, they've always automatically topped off every fluid under the hood. She said, that Cadillac, you can't top off the transmission under the hood. So what the fuck are you talking about? No fucking way. She's like, yeah. So I'm like, I'll be damned. I go out there, I pop the hood. No fucking dipstick. And no spot to put transmission fluid in. So I'm like, there's no fucking way they're making cars like this now. So then, I go on YouTube. And I type in how to check transmission fluid or fill transmission fluid for Cadillac CTS. 2000, what was it, 2000, I think it's a 2002. Sure enough, this dude jacked his fucking caddy up, had to go underneath it, and like, it was redonkulous to fucking check the transmission fluid and fill it up. And I was like, so you're telling me every time you've gotten an oil change, they've never filled up the transmission fluid? And she's like, no. And I had just assumed it. And it's little shit like that in life that, like, yes, it's my fault. I should have known it as a man. But I've always driven older cars. Like, every car that I've ever driven has been fucking, like I had a early 2000s Saturn, which that company, Saturn's not even around anymore. My next car after that was a 91 Pontiac, 91 Grand Marquis Mercury. That was like my favorite car to drive. It was like this big square body shag wagon. And then after that, I had a early 2000s Dodge Intrepid that was given to me for free. Horrible car. One of the worst cars ever owned. And then after that, I had a 96 Grand Prix, which was red, 4-door. And then I got a 97 Grand Prix. 97 Sunfire, which was my last one, White Rabbit. And I had that since my divorce with my ex-wife all the way up until last year. I had that car for like 11 years. I owned and drove that car for 11 years. That's how old the car was, and it still ran like a fucking sewing machine. But just electrical issues was its downfall. So, needless to say, every car that I've owned has always been an older vehicle, and you could always just check the transmission with a dipstick, and if it was low, you could just open up the cap and fucking fill it up. Like, This is the first car that I've ever owned, and I shouldn't have assumed, because what do I say on this channel 1,000 times over? If you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. So, yeah. So, back to the story. Sorry, I like to recoup because this story's kind of long, like I said. But it's a podcast, you know. And I'm just bitching about cars right now. This is technically a blue pill podcast. Hey, actually, you know what? Before I continue the story, let me know in the comments below if you guys are having car trouble. Because I'm curious, is it just me that this shit's going on? Or are you guys getting this shit fucking too? So I have a full-time job. Well, part-time job right now, technically. But I am picking up days off and hours and shit. Needless to say, I don't have a vehicle right now. And I'll tell you, it's going to be probably for a little bit. Have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, I will send you a bumper sticker and a bookmark. I'll sign the bookmark. Unless you don't want me to, you can hit me up in the comments of Buy Me a Coffee. It's in the link below. It would help me buy a new car. And or an e-bike. And I'll get to that in a second. So, that's why I haven't been podcasting lately. All of this shit going on. So then, I wake up the next day. I said, okay, you follow behind me with the RAV4, because I said, the nearest Valvoline, I said, is right up the road. I said, I will specifically go in there if we can get it there, because it's about the same distance as my workplace, about 5 miles. I said, if we can get on the main strip, go to the nearest Valvoline, and I will ask them for a transmission flush, where they flush out the old transmission fluid, fill in the new. And while they're there, they can tell me if there's any leaks, if it's leaking transmission fluid, you know. And I was hoping that it would be an easy fix like that I could get it there, get it up there, get it jacked up, do the transmission flush. Because my thought was, well, shit, if they haven't been filling up the transmission fluid every single time or checking it every single time, maybe that's my fault, or maybe, like the previous theory earlier, maybe it's got a fucking leak in it. So, we don't even get to Valvoline, dude. I had to, like, pull over twice, shut it off twice, restart it, try to get it to where it was going. It was not working, man. It was not fucking working. So, we get it towed. Luckily, Sammy has AAA. By the way, invest in AAA. I know it's a little expensive. I think it's like $200 a year. It's worth it so much if you drive pieces of dog shit cars like I do. And sadly, I wish that they weren't dog shit cars, because I take care of my cars. I don't drive crazy in them. I always do oil changes, like, on time. I take care of my vehicles. It's just they make cars like fucking shit now. And that's a whole nother fucking conspiracy. I mean, they do it with everything. Me and my wife were talking about houses today, about how everything is made like dog shit, so you keep buying it. And the sad thing is like, we would all be wealthy and be homeowners and be car owners if it wasn't this whole... And they figured it out back in the day. There's a whole documentary. TruthStream Media did a whole documentary about it, like an hour-long video. It was beautifully done. And they, like, literally get into... It was some psychopath, some elite motherfucker came up with this theory of, like, well, if we keep making stuff that'll last forever, no one's going to keep buying stuff, and it'll ruin the economy, and all this stupid shit. So that every company purposely made shit shittier that would fall apart, so you have to go back and buy more. But I mean, I have a saw right now that is in my fucking storage unit. I'm going to show it to you guys one day. It's from the 1950s. It's one of those circular saws, and you just plug it in. It's loud as fuck, But it works like a fucking genie, dude. It works like a fucking sewing machine. From the 1950s. I got it for like $10 at a yard sale. Works like a dream. From the 1950s. But yeah, they make everything like shit, so that way you keep having to buy it, and then you're in this. That's why everyone's broke all the time. Because me and my wife, we really don't blow money. Like tonight for dinner, we're having bruschetta. That's a cheap meal that will feed us for like 4 or 5 days straight. When we make bruschetta, we take like 5 or 6 tomatoes, like 1 onion, a bunch of other little sauces and ingredients, which it's pretty cheap, and most of it we already have here. And 1 loaf of sliced French bread, which costs like $2 or something. And that'll feed at least me, because she'll eat it once and she's like, I'm good. I'll eat it for like, I kid you not, like usually about 4 days straight, for like 1 or 2 meals during those days. So I mean, it's like 6 or 7 meals we get out of 1 batch of bruschetta. We're super frugal with our fucking money. You guys know I roll my own cigarettes. I drink cheap beer when I do drink beer. We really don't spend that much money. I bought a pack of hot dogs because we have a fridge at work. I bought a pack of hot dogs and a pack of buns. For the past 3 shifts, I've been eating on hot dogs, like 2 hot dogs a day at work on lunch break, and buns. And I still have more. I've only went through 1 package because it's like a 2-pack. You know, like I think like 5 or 6 wieners in one, 6 in the other. So like 12 wieners. I'll have to buy another thing of buns. But like, we're super frugal with our money. We don't go out and blow money, man. So, but we're like broke as jokes. And I'm not bitching at you guys. Everyone's fucking broke as jokes, man. It is because the system is set this way. You know? And now I have to worry about getting to work. So it's stressful as fuck. So I'm going to do tarot today. And what I'm going to do is me and Sammy got to get her a new battery for her car, because her battery apparently got tested the other day and it's not the best. So now that we're down to 1 vehicle, it's like, okay, yeah, we need to get a new battery for your car. We're doing that right off the bat. Second off, I'm thinking about getting an e-bike, because an e-bike is only like $200. Oh, by the way, here's the rest of the story. Sorry. So I got it towed to a shop. The car was on the side of the road. We got it towed to the fucking shop. I'm jumping ahead of myself. We got it back home because the shop was like, oh, we'll check on it tomorrow, which was yesterday. We get a text. They finally pull it in. They're like, it's a new transmission, and it's going to cost $8,000. $8,000. And I was trying to go to sleep, because I work 3rd shift, and I look at Sammy and I go, nope. And she goes, yeah, I don't blame you, because I literally only have $9,000 in my bank. It would literally wipe out my entire bank account. And by the way, just to get my bank account up to $9,000, I had to work 1.5 years overtime, 6 days a week for 1.5 years straight at Kroger to get it up to $9,000. Like, no. Like, you're not going to wipe out my entire bank account for me to put a transmission in a car that I've already put one in. And by the way, 6 years ago, that transmission cost $3,000. And that was a lot back then. So within 6 years, this shows you how bad the fucking economy is. I kid you not. I'm rounding up, but it was $7,779. $7,779. I'm like, no. I said, I will figure out some way to get to work. So this morning, we got the car towed back here I said, no, just have them tow it back here. I'm not doing it. Because my luck, dude, I would drop all that money, they'd put it in, and then the car would be on the side of the road next month. So we're getting her a new battery for her car. And I'm going to do tarot because the cards are always right, dude. I've said this a billion times, and I don't care if you believe me. I don't care if you don't. I know within my life, with experimenting with it, the tarot cards are always right. I'm going to, obviously, I have $9,000 in my bank account, so I'm going to shop around for like a cheap car on like Facebook Marketplace, something like that. But until then, because me and Sammy, our shifts aren't adding up like the best, I'm going to read the cards and see if I should get an e-bike and just ride an e-bike to work and back. Yeah, I mean, I'll just have to leave the house early and it'll take me longer to get home, but I mean, those things can go up to like 35 miles an hour. I'll just charge it at work while I'm working, so that's 8 hours worth of charging when I get there, and then I can drive home and charge it when I get home. It would save money on gas. Let me know if you guys own an e-bike. I've always wanted one, and it'd be cool to have one, because even Sammy was like, well, it'd be cool to have one anyways, because like, what if, like, let's say my car fucks up, like, I can hop on the e-bike. Let's say it's like today's my day off. She can hop on the e-bike and still go to work, you know? Because she works pretty close too. So, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting an e-bike. I'm going to read the cards and see what they say, if I should do it or just wait and just keep shopping for a car online and calling around and get a cheap car, because I'm not going to do a car payment plan. I just don't have the money for that. Because I'm not working full time. It's just, yeah, I'm going to get something older, just buy it straight out. Something around $3,000, $4,000. I don't mind paying like $4,000 for a car. Anything above 4 G's, I'm kind of like, you know. I'll just stick on to the e-bike for a while, you know. But I don't know. That's what I haven't been podcasting here lately. It's just that's why I have had a crazy shitty fucking week, and I don't like to come on here and just be in a pissed off mood, not in the right headspace, because I'll put out shitty content and I'll put out negative content. I'll be in a negative headspace. But hey, shout outs to Old School Dave, man. Thanks for hitting me up in the comments. You're like one of the very few people who have noticed, like, actually, I think you're the only one who noticed that I hadn't been podcasting, and you checked in, and I respect that, dude. Mad respect. But yeah, I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Sorry this episode wasn't exciting as far as like conspiracies and shit or blue pill content, but yeah, it's kind of a blue pill episode, honestly. It's just, I just wanted to fill you guys in on why I've been gone for a week, what's been going on, my situation that I'm in. I am off today. I may or may not put out 1 or 2 more episodes, which will be, now that I did this update, it'll just kind of be like back to conspiracies and shit, because there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. But I just figured I'd fill you all in what's been going on, and I'm back in the game. I will be putting more out, you know, more podcast out. I needed to take a little break, because I don't want to come on here with a pissy attitude or depressed attitude and just, I want you guys to tune in and laugh to keep from crying. I don't want you guys tuning in and me just like bum you guys out. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of content creators out there who put out nothing but negativity, you know. And I don't want to put that energy out there, and I don't want to put that energy on you, you know. But love y'all. I'm back in the game. I needed a week. See y'all.